Hello, world. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those of any persuasion that you choose to identify yourself with, Ken Krell here with the Pride Nomad letter with the incredible, sexy, and hot Kate Buck Jr. We talked about you earlier today, actually.
Oh,
we did. Yeah, we did. And because I was with the amazing, I'm going blank, of course, as I say this. Who was I with a minute ago?
Kevin Nations.
Of course, with the incredible Kevin Nations. And Kevin said,
my longest time bestest.
I adore Kevin. I adore Kevin. Well, Kevin's like, Kate Buck Jr. is the only woman I know that's a junior.
I am.
So, there's probably a story there that we have probably to dive into.
I tell it, and it lacks the climax that people are looking for.
And my people like climax. They do.
So, when I got started online in 2008, and I am like the grandmother of the social media, actually really the godmother, but I had my nickname when I was growing up was Katie Banana. I couldn't say my last name, my maiden name, and so I called myself Katie Banana, and then my family called me Katie Banana. So when I got on Twitter in 2008, I named myself Katie Banana.
Okay.
And then along the way, I met someone in the direct response marketing space who I had no idea who he was, but his name was Perry Belcher.
Don't know who he is.
And he sent me, we both lived in Austin, so we were very quickly connected in the local Twitter space.
Yeah.
And he sent me a DM, a life-changing DM that said, "You're not going to get very far in this business with a name like Katie Banana." So you know what you do. You think like, oh, the real Kate Buck, or Kate Buck was just so vanilla. Like it just it's 2 words, 4 letters each. It just didn't have any. And it was probably already taken. So I was married at the time, and my husband was a junior. So you can think my neurosynaptic connections went, Kate Buck, what? Oh, Kate Buck Jr. And I'm already used to saying his name. I won't say it because this could go viral on the internet. He's a very private.
Share this with your friends. There you go.
If you want to know his name. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But so I just changed it to that. I thought, I'll be Kate Buck Jr. That's cute. And literally, my mom is a Catherine. His mom was a Catherine as well. So I could be a junior, either way. But anyways, to make the story short, too late, is within 24 hours, I got my first DM of somebody saying, "How are you a junior? I've never heard of a female junior before."
It's great.
And I knew in that moment that I knew nothing about branding. I knew nothing about anything, but I knew that junior was going to take me far. And here we are, 8 years later.
That's so smart.
Or 18 years later.
Whatever. Let's not even math it out. So, because I go back with you to those days. And when I first...
That's when we met.
Around
that time.
Yeah. And I think Laura introduced us. We were at TNC or whatever it was. So here's the thing. You, when I first met you, had multicolored hair, as did Laura, our friend Laura Betterly, who still has multicolored hair because she's consistent. Not to say that you're inconsistent.
No, I did for a very long time. When she and I met, we independently both had pink hair, but my whole brand was pink at that time, and I still keep little notes of it, even though I've abandoned it in the color. But my hair was pink, my clothes were pink, my website was pink. I have also gotten a DM that said I can't think of the color pink without thinking of you. And so that was also that was another thing that I did that was super smart and very intentional.
I mean, being unique and creating that brand, I think, is critical, and having the consistency of the brand is critical. Ergo, all they wear are t-shirts that are Pride Nomad branded, which makes it real easy to pack.
Yeah. Yeah. When people ask me about branding, I mean, I can talk to you about what I've learned about branding from other people, but for myself and people who want to start a business online and have that business for 15 years, it's like, get a pink wig, add junior to the end of your name, and be silly, fun, say whatever the heck you want. Also be really, really smart, and you stay around a long time as well. And that's been the formula. So you do sort of have to have a hook of some kind.
But with that, I'm going to jump in on this because as I've been a speaker for forever, 40 plus years. So I'm like, I'm a fucking old timer, and which is regular, just
40
regular,
years long.
which is, yeah. So, and I say that because I want the validity, the credibility, and the OG part of it. You know, and it's, you know, it's also, I am kind of senior in the age side too, but that luckily, thank you, mom and dad.
Yeah.
You know, I don't look at, which is
You
which
must
is wonderful.
have started in high school.
Yeah, and I'm immature, so it adds to that. But there's a point when I was on stage, as I am.
We're just gonna hang out and goof around.
We are,
this whole time.
but there are points here, and there was big points in what you just said. So because I thought about that, we're having too much fun. There's never having too much fun. But I was on stage. I was selling all sorts of real estate stuff for Russ Whitney back in the day. I was a senior trainer and traveling all over the U.S. and Canada. It was the best gig ever because I'd fly in. They filled the room. I flew in. I spoke. I left, and it was great. It was great. Other than their administrative bullshit, which I hated, but my sales were down a little bit. And one of the guys in the back of the room who was like running the team in the back, handling mechanics. Same as Don Burbaker. And Don pulled me aside and he said, Ken, they're not here to be entertained. They need to be told what to do. They need to be led. They need a leader, not an entertainer. And that was a huge lesson. So what happened for me was I would give them fun and I'd snap them back like a rubber band, you know, so that was like, here's the point and here's why it's critical to you. Have fun. Great. Let's get real. And that added the element of credibility and I don't want to use the word control, but seriousness, so that I was taken seriously. I wasn't just there to entertain them. I was there for them to get the point. And that's what you were doing. You had the fun of the hair and all this, but people knew that you were not to be messed with, right? Because you knew what you're doing. And let's let our audience know, like, who are you and what's your claim to fame?
Yeah. Well, you know, my name is Kate Buck Jr. So there's that. And I started, theoretically, I started in the direct response marketing space. My official start date is 2008, but I really actually started online in 2004. Before that, I was a ballet teacher and I needed to make a little extra cash on the side. So I took on clients in the network marketing space as their personal assistant. And so, yes, that meant a lot of shopping and, you know, dry cleaning and whatnot, but it also meant handling all their customer orders, broadcasting marketing offers to their list. And at that time, my two most consistent clients were Mary Kay directors. Mary Kay had developed these little websites for them that, you know, they could put things on for their clients and also their downline, their consultants that were on their list. So I just got a personal assistant job, but I did not know I was learning the internet, right? And learning internet marketing, email marketing, web, you know, I was using Microsoft Paint to build these websites. Let me tell you.
Wow.
And on the side, this is my favorite thing to say. I was charging $100 to design and code a MySpace layout for people. So I was charging my friends to make their little MySpace layout. So around 2006, a little company in the personal development space called Landmark Education, they had decided that they wanted to launch an online community. Okay. Whatever that meant, had no clue. But because I had already been working as an internet admin, you know, I got the job, and it was there on their dime that I learned.
Landmark. Wow.
But yeah, we had this community for people that were graduates that we could, they could set up a profile. There were discussion groups, so putting questions and having conversations. And then also it was kind of like a little bit of a Craigslist, but like only for graduates. You had, you know, where you could put up a dating profile, you could search for other profiles, roommates, travel buddies, and working jobs. You could put a resume or a job description. So that was awesome. I got to work on that project for 2.5 years. And towards the end of that project, because in that 2.5 years, this other site became really popular. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. You might be listening to us from there now. It's called Facebook. And we were charging like $8-10 a month, something like that, for access to the Landmark community for subscribers, but Facebook was free. So people that were
that's gone.
They were going to Facebook and connecting with each other there. And we really, we were kind of, the project was faced with a turning point. And the turning point was we either invest in this technology and really grow it into something that's not just like a, piece of software, the software needed upgrading, or we fold this project, we figure out what's happening in social media in the marketplace now, and potentially come back in the future with something else if that deems viable. And the executives of the company decided to fold the project. So I became an instant freelancer, which was amazing. And I just remember Googling, like, what is a community manager? Like, I wanted to find somebody else that was doing community management, or what did that mean? Or could a Best Buy or somebody like that hire me? Because I was working from home. I was making great money, and I was hanging around, playing around on the internet all day. And I thought, I want to keep getting paid to do this, right? I want to keep getting paid to do this. So that's when I got on Twitter, and we heard that part of the story. I changed my name to Kate Buck Jr. And I got introduced to my first client, who was a guy named Matt Basak.
Oh my goodness.
And in January 2009, without skipping a beat, my employment ended with Landmark, and January 1st, I started working for Matt. And like the rest is sort of history. At that point, I grew my client business. Just basically, I started out just as a Twitter VA. I just cleaned out your DMs and I posted tweets for you. And you probably remember, I know you remember this. We used to do that follow, unfollow strategy.
Oh yeah.
We follow 100 people. And if you don't follow, but we didn't have bots. We weren't doing it with bot. Well, you could, but you'd get shut down. So you hired a person to do it. So I get paid, very well to do this kind of stuff for my clients. And that's really how my business was born. And within about 18 months, I had gotten my income up to 5 figures a month, which was double what I was getting paid at my corporate job. And along comes my friend Perry Belcher again with Digital Marketer, and they saw me at a South by Southwest conference. They had come down to visit, and they saw me in line, and newspaper people were pulling me out of line for interviews. And I had on my Kate Buck Jr. shirts. They said, I'm not a celebrity, but I play one on Twitter.
Oh, love it. That's great.
I had a bunch of cute shirts. Excuse me, I tweeted. I had a bunch of Kate Buck Jr. shirts, but people were pulling me out for photos, interviews. And these guys were the real internet celebrities.
Yeah.
They had a huge email list, and they're sitting there going, what did you do? And I said, well, I grew my brand, and then I get clients, and then the clients pay me, and I do service delivery. And they said, would you mind teaching other people how you did it? And we will sell and market that course for you. All you have to do is teach people, how do you find your clients? What do you do? How much do you charge? The whole thing. And I said, sure. So that was really it. In 2010, we launched what was the first social media manager training. After that, I was copied by many people. Some of you have heard of a guy named Ty Lopez.
Yeah.
He was inspired by, I'll say, that's a nice way to say it. He was inspired by my Let's Get Social class, and he launched Social Media Manager Academy. And that was a huge success as well. It was just a really great trend. So a lot of people call me the godmother because in 2010, a lot of the big name influencers and internet marketers that today were just trying to figure out the internet as well. And I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. So guys like, just saw him this weekend, Lo Silva, he credits me with being his introduction to the internet. Kayala Kanai, Ryan Stewman, some really big guys. And I had the opportunity to be, promoted by people like Frank Kern, Jeff Walker, all the big guys of that time because of it. And so it was just life changing. And because of that, and how we kind of got talking, as I've gotten to, from my laptop, travel the world, work with amazing people, get paid really well for what I do. And it's so weird to think about that it's almost going to be 20 years here soon that I've been online. But this was not the career I intended, but it has just blessed me with, I work with Kevin, guys like Kevin Nations. And really I've gotten I really have. You said it best a few minutes ago, and I'll stop with my monologue, is that I have gotten paid to learn for the last 15 years, because that's my favorite thing about the internet is it's always changing.
Yeah.
And there's always something new to learn. And I just, I'm really just grateful for that. So I've had this blessing of a career of being in the right place at the right time. And thank you, Twitter, and changing my name to K-Buck Judy.
Well, I only have to ask one question and we can just
See,
go.
there we go.
It's like,
I
it's
mean,
great.
you know,
You
yeah.
make it so
Monologue
easy.
is prepared.
Yeah, but I want to make sure we have a couple of things dialed in here. Number one, you're living in Mexico now.
I do. Yes.
Yeah.
So after traveling the world, Esther Perel talks about expansion and contraction, and that life is expansion and contraction. She gives an example of kids, and you see them when they get to the playground, they run away from their mom really quick and they play because they want to go far. But then all of a sudden they stop and they look up and they're, where's you? And they'll come back and they want to get the hug, and then they feel safe again, and then they want to go. And so life is being about that expansion and contraction. And so if you're constantly in expansion mode or constantly in contraction mode, you're kind of stagnant. So I went out, I traveled, I did the 30 countries, and then I got bored. I got really tired of putting things into my suit, in and out.
Yes.
Next place, and figure out the Wi-Fi issues. You know, it started to get like redundant. And that's when I really started to tap in. And I realized I was craving a home. I was craving nesting. I wanted roots. I wanted a routine. I wanted all of those things. So I think I prayed a little too hard for it, Ken, because I woke up and there was a pandemic.
Right. Yeah. So it's your fault.
This is all my fault.
All your
right.
fault.
Another story about why I think it's my fault. No, I'm just kidding. But I was really intending to move to Colombia.
Okay.
I had checked a few of my boxes. I had very clear criteria on where I wanted to live, and Colombia checked many, many of my boxes. Yeah. But during the pandemic, it closed really hard. And I found myself going to Mexico. It was open. And I decided to be brave and stay and buy a condo and live there, because I still love, it's that idea of being a digital nomad, right?
Yep.
But with roots.
Yes.
It means I'm a long-term expat.
Yeah. Yeah, there's merit to that. I mean, it's funny because when I left the States in 2009, I moved to Bangkok and didn't have a place to live long term. I was nomading really hotel to hotel, guest house to wherever the hell I was staying for a good 6 months until I took an apartment, because I thought, this is stupid. And here, let me just settle down. And then I became technically, I guess, an expat by my definition. I've got friends, my friend Casey Eberhardt tells me, Ken, you are the model. I'm like, no, dude, I'm an expat. I'm not a digital nomad anymore. And so for 2 separate years, I left. I put everything in storage and left. And I've done it again now because I felt inconsistent with the brand. But to mitigate the packing in, packing out, because it's a pain in the ass. I mean, I did that for years when I was on the road teaching, because they'd fly me into a city. And with Whitney, you moved from hotel to hotel 3 times every day during a week. It was a pain in the neck. With other people I've worked with, it was like we stay in one place and then we just get a car and we go. And that's like pack once. But if you do Slowmad, where you're someplace for a month or 2 or 3, makes more sense. So you can still run that lifestyle and have that.
And that's what I did. So I had done a couple of international trips, but when I decided to really do the digital nomad thing, I was telling you that I found a traveling group, right? So I did 1 month in each country, but even that, and I think you do have to do that. I think you do have to explore. I think exactly what you said when I first, showed up in Quintana Roo, Mexico, I ended up in Tulum. That's where everybody was going during the pandemic, and I went, but it just wasn't for me. And so then I moved to Playa, and even inside of Playa del Carmen, I had to move around a little bit to figure out what neighborhood was for me, and the things that are around me, and all of that. So I think that there is that the exploration piece is important, but the idea that we find a place potentially to call home, if that's what calls to you. And you're right. Now I'm an expat. I'm not a digital nomad anymore, but
you saw it in your heart. I mean, and it is to some degree splitting the infinitive, because it's interesting. I laid I put a comment in Facebook recently about leaving the States, and some person was just really rude and nasty about how we're destroying the world. We're just full of ourselves. And on one side, I don't want to say that the expats are doing that, but the expats, because they're eating up the long-term rentals, are causing prices to go up. I saw that in Portugal. It was devastating to me.
Yes, I was in Portugal during that time as well. So
yeah, it's like, prices went up double. And it's like, and my interest in being in Lisbon was shot out because it wasn't a deal anymore. Food was still cheap, living was still cheap, but rents were double. And the other side of the coin for me was it wasn't unique anymore.
Well, then you're going there for the culture. And if you go and then you're just in LA, you know,
exactly
surrounded by, Americans, that you miss the part of the reason why you went there. So I totally understand what you're saying. I think one of the things I think is most beautiful in most of the communities I've been in is that the expats are really generous about giving back.
Yeah. Yeah. You and I were talking about that.
Contributing to the locals because we do feel as a way to give back, because it feels so grateful for the privilege of being able to live there and enjoy the beach.
And that's where you have the reciprocity. I want to cover two things real quick because we're just about out of time. And this is like
we talked about branding.
Time flies. I know. Well, I wanted to do two things. I wanted to talk about the ability to do business while you're on the road, so you can be location independent, which we didn't do that much of, but enough. And we talked about the Nomad Slowmad thing. And like Colombia, for example, I want to do Colombia. That's like next on my list after a mileage run, so I can keep my status on United Airlines. But I want to go to Medellin. I want to go to some of the other cities. I can't go to Medellin for 3 days. That will not let me experience what it is other than to be a tourist. I got to be there at least for a few weeks. So I could do Colombia in like 3 months. My challenge is I won't get to see as much of the world. It's going to take too long. I want to do it all now. So there's that challenge, which we'll deal with in future issues of the newsletter. And we need to do more because we are like about out of time on this.
Yeah.
If people want to get in touch with you, first of all, what are you doing now that could serve our community? Where do you want to get some business from my community from? Tell us everything.
I think the best thing that I can offer is like one of the biggest challenges that people have, and we probably should do 2 or 3 or 10 more episodes, is that when they're thinking about going nomadic, they have not yet figured out the location independent income.
Exactly.
And I did that very early. And I have a program called Social Media Pro, which teaches people how to start a business being a social media manager.
Perfect. Because
you can do that from anywhere. You need a laptop and an internet connection and you can work, right? So if you're looking for a skill and you don't have one yet, it's a great place to start building up for that now. Because I feel like that's a barrier for a lot of folks when they're like, I want to travel, but I'm stuck working in whatever job it is that they have where they have to go into the office or into the store or whatever it is. So if people want to check out Social Media Pro, there's tons of free resources on my website for, planners, checklists, blah, blah, blah. I've been doing this for I have my 14-year anniversary of that program recently. Girl. So there's a lot of goodies there for folks to get for free.
And we'll create a special link for them. How's that?
Okay, perfect.
Cool, perfect. So we'll post that with the podcast and with everything else that we do, so you can get something special from Kate.
I know I should have planned.
This was we put this together very quickly. We pulled you off the beach. We did.
Yes. I thought about it. I was like, I'm doing a podcast interview. You should go put makeup on and you should go get ready. And then I was like, but wait, no, this is what we do. I was at the pool with my laptop and now I'm here.
I know. So. I was out there earlier, had a pina colada, and I don't drink, but I had a pina colada because like, what the hell? And then I had to race in to do an earlier one with Kevin. And then I had a phone call and then I have you. And now I've got like 30 minutes before I go back out for 30 minutes.
My saying is that I'm always on vacation. I'm never on vacation, but I'm also always on vacation.
That's the whole plan. I mean, and we probably have to stop the video, but until they turn the video off, the thing for me is that like I was just in Japan and I was on tours because the cool thing about being a publisher is that like they send you places. It's very cool. And so I was on this tour and I couldn't get stuff done I needed to get done for like PrideNomad, but yet I'm still seeing stuff, which is content for PrideNomad. And it's like this business of having a location independent life to enjoy the world. It's busy, it's busy. And when I was in Barcelona with my mom a few years ago, I traveled with her a lot. She's freaking awesome. And she wanted to see the Gaudi Cathedral. And I was like, Mom, you go without me because I got to finish stuff up. So there's that of we have to figure out our work schedule.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's different. And we talked about that too. Yeah. It is different. I do, when I travel with people that have either are retired or are taking a sabbatical or whatever, I can have a little bit of FOMO because I do have to be more selective, but you can stay longer.
Yep.
I can stay longer so I can still get everything done in. I just don't necessarily do it. So there's a whole system to this and you really can make it work for you.
100%. I'll leave you with less.
Which we'll talk about in
and we will do more.
Too.
We will do more in a different environment. We will do more. I'll leave it with this last piece because it just came to mind. I was in Koh Samui with an ex-business partner a number of years ago, and we're sitting at a beach bar, and he's remarking to me, "This really sucks. The people at the pool over there having a blast. Are on holiday. It's great and all this, and we're stuck here at the beach bar. We're working." And I was like, "Yeah, but guess what? Next week they're going to freeze their tits off in Sydney, and we're going to be still here at the beach. So get over yourself." Oh yeah. So yeah, I have
a photo checking in at Galapagos Islands at the one little coffee shop there, and I'm on my laptop working on a Saturday while one of my friends was out scuba diving or something. But that working allows me such a freedom that I don't resent it in any way.
And you were at the Galapagos,
I was in the Galapagos.
Is like, hello.
Bucket list for a lot of people.
So
I love telling people I've been to the Galapagos.
I haven't been there yet. So I'm like envy. It's on the list for this coming year. So the last piece to this is, or the key to it really is making sure that we have A, the location independent business, but B, one that doesn't suck up your life so that we can, work a couple hours. When I first got to Thailand, worked a couple hours in the morning, went to the beach, came back from the beach, worked a couple hours, went to dinner, did the, all the shows and all the stuff that were there. And then either worked an hour after that because it was time zone stuff or just, went to bed.
Yeah.
That was life. Awesome stuff. So that's the whole key is setting it up, which is why I built.
Yeah. Well, the beauty is that a lot of times when you're traveling, you're in different time zones. So you can do some time blocking stuff and you just take advantage of doing as much as you can while people are sleeping.
Yeah.
Whether that's traveling to the next location or I had a team in the Philippines and I was doing projects for clients in the United States. So when I was in Europe, it was perfect because I had so much time with each team and then I did my own thing. So I have very specific ideas for people about how to time block so you can fit it all in. But that's really the answer is just getting really good about time blocking, which you should be doing anyway.
I know. It just makes it more, because it's our personal life now, and that's lifestyle. It's lifestyle centric. It's a different perspective. But we got to go. We could do this for hours. I adore you.
I thought I started this. Thought this was going to be a Joe Rogan podcast, and here we're wrapping up in a 10th of the time. No, I'm just kidding. Well, that's good.
It's sort of like
to be continued.
We call this a Jewish goodbye. We're like, we got to go, and then finally an hour later, would you get the hell out? You're leaving. So
awesome.
I want to acknowledge our video team because you guys are absolutely fabulous, all of you.
Thank you.
And I want to acknowledge you because thanks for taking time off the beach to be with us. You're fabulous. We'll do more.
Yeah,
cool.
For sure.
Love
See you on the next one.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.